So in this artificial intelligence question and answers playlist, I usually get a lot of questions about healthcare. Specifically, how artificial intelligence can improve the cost, access, accuracy, and intelligence of healthcare, and thereby disrupt the systems that exist in many advanced countries, because almost no country has a very good healthcare system. The United States has one set of well-known problems. Europe has a different set of well-known problems. Can artificial intelligence make a difference, and can government make use of artificial intelligence in a manner that increases healthcare access? So there are a number of ways to think about this. We've all seen articles like this. Patients, whether lay people or medical experts, say that ChatGPT is better than their general practitioner doctor 79% of the time. For one key reason: it has unlimited time for questions. It's not trying to get rid of you for the next appointment, and if you have a new question half an hour later, then you can go to ChatGPT again, versus you cannot really go to your doctor again. You can have an email correspondence at best. Otherwise, it's a new appointment and a new copayment at another date. And this is when you're actually at your doctor. There is an even bigger factor over here. No matter what country you're in, one thing is pretty much always going to be the case. To see your doctor for 10 minutes, you have to spend 2 hours. You also have to spend money over there and spend the money of transportation, but on time alone, to see your doctor for 10 minutes, you have to spend 2 hours. How does that scale? Secondly, the majority of general practitioners and pediatricians are seeing the same few things as the vast majority of their time. A pediatrician has children brought in for virtually the same things. So why should there be 20 million doctor's appointments for the same condition within the span of a week? There's tremendous opportunity for economies of scale in something like this. If 30 to 40% of every doctor's time in the general practitioner or pediatric sphere can be simplified down to the same 4 or 5 things that patients come in for, that is exactly how not just the internet can optimize healthcare, but the internet paired with AI can optimize healthcare tremendously. Millions upon millions of duplicative doctor's visits can be removed. Even if there's a pandemic, nothing too serious, but let's say there's a viral infection and 20 million people have a sore throat, why should there be 20 million people making 20 million doctor's appointments to hear the same thing? That is a tremendous duplication and waste of resources. Whereas a medical AI, which is not going to be just this free ChatGPT, of course, but a healthcare GPT or a general practitioner GPT type of engine, which could emerge at any time, could be so useful that everyone can get healthcare at a very, very early access point, no matter what time of day, no matter whether it's a holiday or weekend. And the engine will get a lot of important intelligence about spreading pandemics because, let's say 4 days ago, nobody was inquiring about a particular sore throat, but now there's millions of inquiries about the same sore throat. The government and healthcare professional network gets much faster intelligence about a spreading pandemic and can react much sooner. So this is at the frontline appointment level, where a lot of efficiencies and economies of scale are present. There are many other aspects of healthcare that can be optimized through artificial intelligence, for which I'll have many dedicated videos. I'll give you 2 more examples in this video. In the United States alone, there are 20,000 medical papers written each year. Most doctors don't read medical papers, but even the ones who do, they can at most read about 100 of them. They cannot read all 20,000 of them, and fine, there's different specialties, and a doctor is not going to read papers in another specialty. But an artificial intelligence can intake all those papers at once. Now consider the international aspect. If there are good medical papers written in the United States about some new innovation, and even if doctors in the English-speaking world read them, these would have to be translated before doctors in other countries learn about them. So that is a multi-year process. With AI, this is automatic. The summarization and translation aspect of medical research, in order to be accessible to doctors in all countries, is now so much faster that the greatest percentage upside is actually for doctors in poorer countries who don't have access to the earliest research, and even more so for doctors in poorer countries that do not speak English. Then there's 2 barriers that are overcome, so the quality of healthcare can rise tremendously. Remember that in many poorer countries, the ratio of doctors to the general population is unfavorable, so many people have to wait in line for 3 hours just to see the doctor. They don't do appointments even. AI can be a tremendous force multiplier effect in that type of scenario as well. And in example number 2, we can see a lot of the physician's instruments being dematerialized and accessible to average people. Because you might say that an AI, such as a medical GPT, might answer some questions, but it doesn't have the stethoscope or the blood pressure meter or the other instruments that a doctor uses to do a checkup on you. But a lot of these things are becoming more commoditized. For example, the camera in most people's smartphone is so powerful that if you just took a photograph of your eye, you could expand it to a factor of 100. And then even if you are not an optometrist and cannot see if there's a problem, you can upload that to an AI that has already seen millions of images of other people's eyes and will flag problems. And so the optometrist that you go see already knows of the problem that you have, and therefore you can have a head start in terms of the conversation with the optometrist. Soon this will be true for blood tests as well. You can have a small dab of blood at home. You can smear it between 2 slides. There will be instructional videos that tell people how to do this. And then you can take a very high resolution photograph of that and send it to a lab. And that way the lab can look at some of the basic aspects of what is in your blood. You can't do everything that a blood test does because they have to do other chemical reactions for certain types of blood tests that can only be done in the lab. But when your phone can give you 100x photography magnification, there are more things you can do at home and therefore provide more data into the analytics engine for AI to look at the blood smear and see a problem. This gets around the data deficiency we experience right now, because if your blood work had a bad reading, you will only get another blood test authorized 6 months later, and therefore the snapshots are too infrequent for you to check your glucose levels or your A1C or your potassium or your LDL and HDL or your vitamin D or whatever, right? More data is better, and the only path to more data is more home-based testing, made simple enough for somewhat skilled lay people to do, and then with the high-resolution photographs you can upload it to a medical AI engine that looks at the image and keeps an eye on what the blood test reveals. Therefore you get more data, and you can get more granularity about which food is spiking your insulin, for example, or things like that. Now the healthcare system in many countries has perverse incentives to increase costs and increase demand artificially, but AI can do a lot to mitigate this pernicious force. And that is something to look forward to. Thanks for watching.